Welcome to the last match of the first round of the bracket stage, where the last team of the tournament will make its debut. It's JDG from the LPL, the first seed, going against the Golden Guardians, who already showed some convincing performance in the play-in stage. And as always, we will not waste any precious time and hop straight into Game 1.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
The winner from the Chinese Spring Split, JDG Gaming, will be the last team that shows up on this tournament, and they have 369 on the Gwen on the top lane, Kanavi on the Maokai in the jungle, Knight, he's on the Jace, Ruler, he plays the Jinx, and missing, he will show some brawl performance. For the Golden Guardians, who went through the hells of the play-in stage, it's Licorice in the top lane on the Jax, River, he's on the Sejuani, Gory on the Sion, Stixer, he plays the Aphelios, and Hui, he's playing the Nautilus. After 6.5 minutes, it's Stixer there alone in the bot lane, missing follows him, flashes after him, his passive procs, and it's first blood going to JDG. First dragon slain after 8 minutes there by the Golden Guardians. We skip another minute to see both teams there around the Herald pit. Hui's going in with the hook on Ruler, knocks him up with his ult, and the Jinx just gets evaporated there. And so half a minute later, almost at the 10 minutes mark, the Guardians, they also collect the first Herald of the game. And we're up into the top lane another 30 seconds later to see a hallowed seamstress there on the retreat against Licorice and River. 369 on the Gwen, he tries everything to get away, but he gets permafrosted, and as he thoughts again, he's already about to count the respawn timer. And we go back into the bot lane where we see Ruler there dodging the Glacial Prison, but Hui won't miss his depth charge. And also the Moonlight Vigil by Stixer hits, followed by the Nautilus hook, and Ruler, who was almost in safety, gets killed there. And so it's River there for the Golden Guardians, already with 2 kills and an assist. And we stick with the scene as we see the 3 members there of the Golden Guardians fighting against the Maokai and the Braum, as River summons the Sweet Lady of Rage about to crush into the T1. The Canavian missing there withstand the attack, and now they return the fire. Hui gets knocked up by the Glacial Fissure, rooted by the Nature's Grasp, and JDG, they strike back and take down the Nautilus. That's the Jinx ult flies in but won't kill anybody. Now we see River dashing in, throwing his ball at Canavian. From the other side is Gory with the unstoppable onslaught on missing, but the damage is split up on 2 members of JDG, and it's just not enough to take anybody down. And so like on the scene before, the tables turn again in this fight. The Glacial Fissure and then the Jinx will come and clutch. River falls and Hui follows, but on the other side it's missing, taken out there by Stixer. The Guardians are going for Kanavi, but Ruler is dealing so much damage. Kanavi falls, but also Stixer. The Jinx just getting so excited that in the end it will be Gory slain there as well. And so JDG, they trade 4 for 2. They can take the Dragon and the bot lane T1 a minute later. We're running through the next minute where we see the Golden Guardians there taking down the top lane Tier 1, and JDG slaying the Herald just to summon it seconds later in the mid lane where it crushes into the T1. A bit more than 17 minutes into the game, we see Knight and Kanavi there in the top lane, surprised by a lurking Hui, who will make it to 3v2 together with Gory and River. But missing, he comes to help. Licorice TP's in. Again, the numbers advantage for the Golden Guardians. At 369, he TP's in to have a say in this as well. And the top lane becomes an unfathomable slaughterhouse. Stixer joins the scene, but Licorice, he will be slain first. 369 follows into the grey screen. It's now 3v4 in favor for the Guardians. But except for Stixer, the Guardians already at low HP. Hui is limping around there, trying to recall, as JDG is re-engaging, missing in Kanavi in the brushes, but the Maokai gets knocked up by the Sion Q. The Knight, he saves the day for his jungler as he's going wild with his hextech hammer to slay Stixer, and he lunges up for another lethal strike there on Hui for the double kill. Another winning play for JDG there, who now take down the top lane Tier 1, and we go into the bot lane where it's a fight between the Grandmasters at arms and the hallowed seamstress. Licorice is trying to get away, but Knight, he waits there to send another enemy to the base with his mighty hammer. And so JDG, they take the next dragon. They take the T2 in the bot lane as well. And now we find ourselves in the topside jungle there. The Kanavi gets surprised and hooked there by Hui, but missing, he throws in his body like a prime bodyguard to protect his jungler. He sacrifices himself, but Kanavi can get away. And we're already at the first Baron Nashor, trying to snatch it away, but he comes too late, and now he's trapped and doomed there in the Baron pit. But we say a bit because this scene is not over yet. Gory there trying to get away, but missing with his Glacial Fissure. knocks up Gory, stuns him once, he gets stunned twice, and the Guardian's mid laner finds himself in the twilight of glory and death and the grey screen. As JDG now with all members pushing through the mid lane, going for the inhib turret. And it's no chance for the team from the LCS to defend the tier 3 and the inhib itself. And now going for the Nexus turrets, it's the first seed from the LPL. Looking for an angle to end this, maybe right here. River and Ui, they're going in trying to stop them, but their health bars are just getting shredded. Licorice was rooted, goes in as Hui's already down, and he's an isolated and easy target. On JDG, they take down the second Nexus turret, as the Nexus is exposed and crushed within the next seconds. And so they win Game 1 of the series, and we go over to Game 2. Great performance there by JDG in their first game of the tournament, who are now tackling from the right side with 369 on the Gnar. Kanavi, he's playing the Wukong Knight, he's on the LeBlanc, and on their bot lane, Ruler on Zeri, and Missing playing the Lulu. But the Golden Guardians not to be undervalued, they have the potential to fend them off with Licorice on the Cassandra in the top lane. River, he's playing the Vi, Gore, he's on the Lysandra, and on their bot lane, Stixie on Tristana, and Hui on the Rel. And speaking of fending off, we hop into the top lane. 7.5 minutes into the game, the all-out of Licorice, he flashes and then he takes down 369. Solo Bolo and the first blood going to the Guardians. As we hop immediately into the bot lane where it's a 3v3 dive there by JDG and it goes nothing but wrong. As Ruler dies and Kanavi Missing now trying to get their bottoms into safety. But there's no chance for the Wukong to get away, and so it's the first 3 kills going to the Guardians. And they will also obtain the first Herald of the game and the first Dragon after almost 11 minutes into the game. And we now see them 12 minutes into the game going for the LeBlanc of Night. Glacial path into the Frozen Tomb from Gory there, but now he dashes right under his turret, and so the Violent of River will lead him right into the danger zone, and he gets slain as Gory gets rooted by the ethereal chains and follows his jungler back to the fountain. And so it's the first 2 kills handed over to JDG there, as we see the dread of all turrets headbutting there into the bot lane tier 1 of JDG, and River, just 2 minutes later, slaying the second Herald, who is now summoned in the top lane, and he takes down the tier 1 there, and continues to move forward towards the tier 2. Gory and River accompany it, and so the Scaly Monster will get off a second charge, but now it's River there, with the Cease Assist on 369, Frozen Tomb from Gory, and also Hui on the road goes in, and the Gnar gets slain there. And it's nothing that Missing can do but watch his top laner to be sent back to the fountain. But now it's Kanavi and Ruler joining the scene, and the 3 of them are chasing down the Golden Guardians. But just until Hui decides to turn around and crash down there on 2 members of JDG. Kanavi gets slain and it's a back and forth in the top lane as Stixie collects the kill on Ruler as well. After 19 minutes we see the bot lane T1 of JDG falling, and just a couple of seconds later the mid lane tier 1 turret as well. Now we see River and Hui there with the engage on Missing. The Cease Assist followed by Hui flashing over the wall, activating his Magnet Storm, and now Licorice TP's in. Stixie also hops over the wall and they're going for Kanavi first. And they take down the JDG jungler. On the top side it's Gory, buying some time for himself in the Frozen Tomb there. But just as he accesses stasis, he immediately becomes the target and gets sent to the fountain. Licorice with all out at night, but the LeBlanc escapes with the distortion. But instead the Guardians take out Ruler. No ADC for JDG. Hui falls, Missing follows. Both supporters grey screens. And Stixie, he finally takes down the LeBlanc. The third dragon of the game will go to the Golden Guardians, but Knight, after a bit more than 24 minutes, takes down the top lane tier 1. As we now see River and Hui finding Missing there, and the Lulu gets battered and walloped there in the top side jungle. No chance for the little Yordle to survive there. Kanavi goes in with the Cyclone looking for revenge there. He dashes into the Barret Pit, followed by Stixie, but he will take down the Tristana. Kanavi gets a trade 1-for-1 and we find ourselves at the same position 2 minutes later. It's Knight caught by surprise by River and Gory. He's knocked up by the IQ, sent it to the Frozen Tomb, but in the end he will dash away into safety. And again it's JDG, they found an angle to turn the tides in this fight as well, as they take down the Vi, and also Hui, and it's a double kill for Ruler. And so the Baron will be theirs on the bot lane T1. will be taken by the minions. And so we find ourselves around the Dragon Pit in the fight for the next strike. But first we take a look at Knight, who dashes in on Gory, almost bursting him into the grey screen, but he gets rooted and stumped there, and so Gory gets away for the moment as JDG is taking the dragon. At the bottom right screen we see Knight finally taking down Gory, and we look at the follow-up team fight around the Dragon Pit. Styx is getting low, Kanavi dashes in, and Ruler, he will take him down. But the Ruler becomes the target of Hui and River. But the Zeri stands strong, and she takes out the Vi before she falls herself, and now they're going for Licorice, the last living member of the Guardians, and JDG, they take the ace. And now they're pushing through the mid lane. The tier 1, already history. The second turret, are about to follow. But they will not go for the inner, but instead turn around, buy some items, and come back. Just moments later, where we see Kanavi now in the bot lane going for Licorice, about to be joined by 369 and Knight. And there's a 3 there going for the Cassante. And there's just no shield that could save him there from the realms of the respawn counter as we look in the bot side jungle. With Ruler missing going against River, Stixay and Hui. Ruler bought some time with the stopwatch so that Knight could join the fight. Gory, he looks pretty doomed there in the frozen tomb against Kanavi and 369, who will send him to the fountain. And so the Guardians will find themselves on the retreat. Ruler there, going for Stixay. And in the battle of the ADCs, the Zeri will score another point. And so it's only River on the Vi, living there for the Guardians. On JDG, they're now looking to take this game too as well, as they're going for the Nexus turrets. And there will be no help for River for more than the next 10 seconds. And it's nothing to do for him but to stand there and look the disaster and the destruction of his base happening. And as Hui and Licorice will respawn, the Nexus turrets are already gone. The Nexus itself is exposed. Licorice is immediately sent back into the fountain for good. On JDG, they win this game with a dominant performance, leaving no doubt, and they will see themselves in front of a match point game in the next one. Game number 3, and the first match point that has to be denied by the Guardians if they want to proceed in the upper bracket of the tournament. They try to do so with Licorice on the cannon. River, he's playing the Rengar. Gory, he's on the Galio. Stixay playing the Jinx. And Hui, he plays the Thresh. For JDG, it's 369 on the Gragas. Kanavi, he's playing the Kha'Zix. Knight, he's on the Nautilus. And in their bot lane, it's Ruler on Xayah. And missing completes the Vestian combo with the Rakan. Not even 2 minutes into the game, we see Hui there hooking, missing. River comes in, leaping out of the brushes, but Rakan flashes out into safety, and so River becomes the target. Taken out there by Kha'Zix for the first blood, but he gets low there himself, and so Kanavi gets slain there for the trade 1-for-1. And now Stixay, he's excited, and he chases, missing there, connects another shot. Missing flashes over the wall, but Hui with a hell of a hook there. And so Stixay sends the Rakan back to the fountain. Kanavi taking the first dragon there for JDG, and we find ourselves half a minute later around the Herald Pit, when Knight connects a stretch line there on River. The Guardians have to back off there for the moment, and so JDG, they can take the objective. But the Guardians led by River there, going for the re-engage. The Rengar's Throw of the Hunt is activated. He leaps in once, goes back to the brushes, leaps in twice. Gory flies in with the Justice Punch, then taunts Knight with the shield. The Nautilus gets stomped there by the cannon passive. And finally, they send the Goliath back into the depths of the Guardian Sea. As we see the Herald here crushing into the bot lane tier 1 of the Guardians, but the tower will be left with a bit of structure. Almost 40 minutes into the game now, the Guardians, they collect the second dragon of the game, but they are looking for more, and so they're going for Knight there. Knock out by Hui, but the rest of JDG, they immediately go for Stixay. Gory comes with the hero's entrance, trying to save his ADC, but it only appears to be his own downfall. A couple of seconds later, Hui and River looking for some revenge there on Knight. The Nautilus gets hooked and put in the box, but the damage is just not enough. And so 369 are missing, they come in to steal the show. Tower diving the Rengar and just great screening him there. And then they fall back, get out of this tower range. But the engage is not over. Knight with a dredge line going in again, but he gets stunned and knocked up, and from a distance you can hear the swoosh of a super mega death rocket that takes him down. Because Stixay's already respawned and back to the show. The Guardians, they know smell blood in the water as we see Gory here going for Knight, joined there by Licorice. The Shield of Tyrann stuns Knight there, but in return his depth charge pushes away Gory, and so he gets into safety for now. But as his tower falls, another dread already appears at the horizon, and it's called Rengar leaping in on him there. First kill for River in the game, and as we follow the cam over the bot side jungle, we see 369 in the top lane, taking down the tier 1.
So he is going to be
Now we see the Cossacks of Kanavi there sending the presence of the Thresh of Hui. And the Jungle Assassin just creates a massacre there on the Guardian supporter. And we fast forward into the mid lane where we see Ruler and Missing taking down the tier 1 turret. And it's Stixay, River and Licorice already in the vicinity, dealing some damage to Missing. As all of a sudden the unseen threat Kanavi flies in there on Stixay. But Gory this time with the hero's entrance comes in clutch. And so they strike down the attacker. And the Guardians now, they obtain the second Herald of the game and summon it in the top lane. After almost 19 minutes into the game, the tier 1 of JDG gets destroyed there. And the sweet Rift Lady dances forward onto the second turret. And she headbutts into this one as well. The Guardians disengage, and on the bottom right screen we see JDG taking down a third dragon of the game. As it's River on the ring gun, leaping in on Ruler. But Kanavi's there, it turns out to be just a shortcut for the Guardians jungler back to his own base. JDG now advancing towards the enemy base. As Nighty hooks and roots Hui, and he takes all the damage there, and look how tanky the Nautilus is. And so the Guardians, they lose Hui and the tier 2 in the mid lane, and now JDG on the retreat. Followed by River there, who again gets too cocky there, against 3 members. He's sent back to the base again. As Gory crashes down with his ult, followed by the Winds of War. Licorice, he joins as well, and they're going for Missing. But he activates his stopwatch, and Ruler, he lets the feathers fly, and the Super Mega Death Rocket will not save Gory there from the death. And so the team from the LPL, they take the mighty Baron buff. Now they're going for the hunt. Kanavi dashes over the wall, lets his void spikes fly on River. And so it's one hunter taking down another. And the team from the LPL, they want to make use of their 7k gold. It's Knight now with the hook and the flash on and over the terrain. And he stuns and roots Stixay with his ult and his passive. And before the Jinx could somehow react, her screen turns grey. 1.5 minutes later, the bot lane T2 falls, and Stixay again, he just gets evaporated there. And River, he can only get away there by the help of the Hui Lantern. JDG about to crack open the base, looking to end this game and with it the whole series. No inhib turret in the bot lane. The mid lane inhib turret as well, under attack. The way to the Nexus turrets through the bot lane will be opened, and the super minions about to spawn. It's a 5v4 now. The Guardians without the ADC for the next 10 seconds. And the first shots on the Nexus turrets have been fired. JDG, they were waiting for the minions in the mid lane. They will now come in, and so they take down the mid lane inhib turret, going for the inhib itself. As Nighty finds Gory with his hook, but the Guardians mid laner instantly activates the Zonias. And so nothing happens for now but the destruction of the inhibitor. JDG, they patiently uphold the siege, waiting for the 2 super minions to come in. It's a back and forth as they push the Guardians a little bit back under the Nexus turrets, but now they disengage. But they're ready to turn as Sagragas ult blast River there, closer to the lanes. The re-engage led by the Everfrost of 369, followed by Ruler there, who gets taunted by the Gallia shield. But Gory finds himself isolated against all the damage from the opponent's team. JDG, they find another kill. They're smart enough not to overextend, but instead turn around, take the next dragon buff, just to come back a minute later, through the top lane, where they're pushing the third and the last minion wave, destroying the last tower outside the Guardian's base. And it's Kanavi with a short and cheeky but mighty assault there on Hui. The burst potential of the Cossacks is just insane. It's a 12k gold deficit for the Guardians there, as Kanavi fires the next Void Spikes, holding of 3 members of the Guardians, as the rest of his team takes down the last standing inhib turret. Maybe to make things sure, maybe just because they can, where in all worlds could be a potential angle for a miracle comeback there for the team from the LCS. The last inhib destroyed now. The Nexus turrets, the last structure standing there, the base, and you might say the whole rift is laying in ashes. And the LPL first seed showing again some dominant performance also in this third game, as it's River isolated there from his team, taken down by Kanavi and Knight. The first Nexus turret falls, the Guardians get pushed back to the fountain, but Missing almost gets killed. Knight with the hook on Hui, Licorice on the top of the screen and the stopwatch, but he gets slain probably for good. Stixay with the Super Mega Death Rocket, he takes down Kanavi, but not Missing. Gory activates his Zonias. Ruler goes onto the stopwatch as the Nexus is attacked by the minions. Except for Nautilus, it's just no health bars there for JDG, but also the life points of the Nexus are vanishing more and more. Stixay gets killed, and so it's Gory, the last member of the Guardians, live to see the end of this game. And JDG, with some dominant performance on their debut, they will proceed to the upper bracket and send the Guardians down to the elimination bracket.